So, anyone up there? Yay! Zach's here. Dave's here. The gang's all here.
Shout out.
Everybody's here.
The gang's all here. What are we on? Episode 49? But it's actually 47 because 2 shows were kind of cancelled and I couldn't be bothered to go back and like change all the numbers. So, but let's just call it 49. It's going to be a good time. I'm feeling better this week. You'd be pleased to know. I'm just out of the COVID's. Back.
You're so energetic.
Is it on the wagon or off the wagon? I'm never quite sure. Am I on the wagon now, or am I?
Depends on how you see it, I guess. Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. It's going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to it. Dennis is drinking. Good to see him drinking. Last time I saw him, he was having a nice Perrier water in Shibuya.
Yes, that joke lasted about 3 or 4 years.
Still going.
Went to the bar and I had a Perrier.
I thought that was a classy move. It's a classy move. Cheers, everyone. Let's do that thing that I don't like to do, but I'm going to do it anyway.
The housekeeping.
The housekeeping. Yeah.
I've watched these.
You've watched a couple.
And
how do we do that again, Matt? How do we do the housekeeping? That's
well, you gotta like and subscribe.
There you go. Let Matt do it. He's younger and more handsome than me.
And I'm saying by the end of this episode, 1 million subscribers. Do you think we can do this?
Keep it realistic, mate. Keep it realistic.
2 million.
If we get 1 million subscribers, I am going to eat a bowl of rice.
Wow. There's a
Think about
potential threat that you can't ignore.
Make it happen.
There you go.
So crush that like button.
Crush it. Blow it up.
Annihilate it.
All the things. Okay, let's go in. Jesus, let's go in the chat. Cheers, Pat. Cheers, Jeff. Everyone uses different names except Patrick and Pam. They're using their real names. Jeff. That's Jeff. There's Jeff. Jeff's coming on next week. Again, 3rd time. Good to see you, Jeff. Jeff Young.
Jeff Young.
Hey, Mike Woodford's here. Gianni's here from Germany. There we go. All right, let's do a cheers and let's get started, shall we? Got a long road ahead of us.
It's going to be a rough one.
It's going to be a good road, a Roman road.
I don't know if it got cut off, but I was telling them I got to give a shout out to Zach. He brings me a machete. Me and my friends a machete every time we see him. So, Zach.
He was. Is that Zach LeBlanc?
Yeah, if that's the same Zach LeBlanc I'm thinking of.
Cheers, Zach. Cheers to you and your machete collection.
Psych Ward.
There you go. Cheers.
Oh, it's a Psych Ward guy.
Mm-hmm. Psych Ward. All right.
Okay.
There you go. That name came out.
I've heard of Psych Ward.
Hang on. I just seen like a tour poster for them or a gig poster that didn't it have like Veteran of the Psychic Wars tour? Is that right? Is that something else?
For these guys, it's not a band. It's just their crew. They have shirts that say it. And
gotcha.
And they have machetes.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Don't mess with them. Be nice.
Yeah, you
Be nice
can
to Zach.
Get rid of some weeds and clear a path.
All right.
Nothing stands in their way.
Sounds about like this show, Dennis. All right. I'm going to get my weed whacker out for my first pick. Jesus. I'm on the Sapporo tonight. Sponsored by Sapporo Beer. There you go. Cheers. So we've got 5 records each. Let's get started. 1 each. We'll go around 5 times and let's have a good time talking about some good, great, or amazing records. I've got a box. My first pick is a box.
Oh.
It's a box, yeah. We're going back to Ebony Records. Anybody a fan of Ebony Records? Like the underdog of like new wave of British heavy metal. We were talking about Saxon before we came on the show, so this is kind of a fitting like first pick. I got a band. Is it new wave British heavy metal? Is it thrash? Is it both? Is it neither? Not sure. Let's have a little look at a record I already showed before, like to set the scene. Remember I showed this record, Metallic Storm compilation. This is one of the Ebony Records like compilations.
What a fantastic cover on that.
Hey, right? Yes, exactly. It's amazing. First ever appearance of Merciful Fate on vinyl. This compilation.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. But there's 3 in the series, so I only had this one until like yesterday, and I picked up. You'll like this. Metal Maniacs.
Amazing.
I mean, come on, what's not to like?
Maniac Viking.
And then
Yeah,
the most like minimalistic
Is he
one,
holding his tail?
which is yes, he is. He's
Yeah,
no, he's holding a snake
Yeah.
Oh,
and an axe. And then this one, which is like pretty cool looking, I would say.
that's a
This one has
classier one.
Savage on it. This one has like the vinyl debut of like Savage on it.
Loose and Lethal Savage.
The very same, yeah. So these comps are all great, real like meat and potatoes, raw, like, underground, new wave British heavy metal. So this band was a Ebony Records band, but it's like more like thrash. I love this band, and I was chuffed to see that Svart Records from Finland has just reissued both their albums, either as standalones or in a box. I got the box set because it was actually cheaper than getting both of the standalones separately. So this is the box. Blood Money.
I've never heard of Blood Money.
A lot of people haven't heard of Blood Money. It's kind of like pretty obscure, I want to say. Man, I love this band. And when I show the actual records, you too will love Blood Money.
All right.
else in that box?
Come on, check this out. Come on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that cover on a store. I didn't know there was a box of that, but yeah, that's a fucking cover.
That's a cover, right? Blood Money, Red Raw and Bleeding, 1986. So they were like too late for the new wave of British heavy metal, almost too late for thrash, but yet they're doing both at the same time, and nobody cares about this stuff in like 1986.
The chrome
like-
effect on the word money. Nice.
Yes, Red Raw and Bleeding, and the song titles, man, Stormer, and the chorus is like Stormer, 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 Stormer. Come on, this is just
That's
like
perfect.
it's like great stuff, and like there's a real like cool like new wave of British heavy metal connection with this band. The bass player played in that band, Aragorn, who did Black Ice, which is like one of the like best like new wave of British heavy metal singles, I want to say. It's like a classic song. So the bass player went on to be in this band. But if you like Savage, we were talking about the Savage album. If you like Grim Reaper, it kind of sounds like Grim Reaper and Savage like put together in like 1986 with like super raw,
sold on that.
super raw production. So that's like the first album, Red Raw and Bleeding, and then you get the second album. This one's pretty good too, pretty good looking. Battle Scarred, the second album
I like that too.
from '87,
Great.
and then you get the demos, which is great because it's all like BBC like recordings and stuff, like demos. Maybe the Friday Rock Show. Maybe this also has a good cover. It's called.
So yeah, I would buy these based on the cover alone. Like,
you got to get the box
got a
set.
chainsaw.
Gotta get that
He's
box.
got a chainsaw after his Blood Money. It's metalized with a Y, and it's subtitled "The First Bounty." There you go.
Man, you won me over with the
There you
Grim
go.
Reaper drop.
I mean, it's basically kind of. It sounds like Grim Reaper and Savage mixed together, and like the vocalist has a little bit of a high tone, but it's like super raw. Doesn't sound anything like Slayer or Metallica or anything that was like coming out of the States at the time. It's basically like new wave of British heavy metal gone thrash. Is kind of what they sound like. So
Nice.
yeah, Blood Money.
You're the winner.
Man, I feel like if you saw that in a Warfare record in the store when you're like 16, how could you choose?
That
You know,
does have the kind of similar color scheme, right, to one of those Warfare.
in a way.
records.
Yeah, yeah.
It also
Less-
looks like a bit like on that Razor record that has the chainsaw on the cover.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there you
no, it
go.
reminds me of some old video game called Time Killers. Like,
Oh, that, yeah.
only video game weirdos.
All right,
would
we're
know
done
that.
talking records right now. So Time Killers.
No, I remember like wasting so much money on it in the arcades because there was a guy with a chainsaw. And it was like when Mortal Kombat was out and you could kill people with chainsaws.
You can
But
chop
yeah.
arms off and keep fighting.
You know, man knows.
I play Time
Right.
Killers.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
seriously,
feel
if you
like that'd
saw
be
that,
time
if you
to
saw
try.
that Blood Money record in the store, you'd buy it, right? Just on the look of it. Maybe
Probably.
you might Google it and have a listen on YouTube and then not buy it. But I don't know.
Nowadays, yes. Yeah. Or like ask the owner and then be like, oh, yes, of course, very good. And be like,
But this is actually one of those reissues that is very cool because like the originals are kind of hard to get, and this is a very like worthwhile like reissue, I would say, from Svart Records.
See, because it's in a box, though, I could only buy the box. Like once I know that there's like a better version like that, I can't buy them.
Well, you get the demos and stuff as well, and if you get a good deal, it works out cheaper to get the box and the two standalones. The choice is yours. Have a think about it. get
I
back to
picked
me.
the box.
Gonna be looking for that.
There you go. Well, have a listen to it first. Don't take my word. Don't take my word for it.
Oh,
But I mean,
no,
you
no,
know,
You told me to buy it, and I'm gonna buy it.
I'm dropping
sucker,
$100 on it.
I've
sight
kind of laid
unseen.
my cards on the table with Ebony Records compilations. You know where I'm at with this stuff, so you've been
You
warned.
said Grim Reaper. I'm fucking in.
Yeah. There you go. All right, Jesse, take it away.
All right. I went
Take it
with
away.
a short, sharp shocker.
Oh,
7-inch
There we
that
go.
showed up a little bit ago. Used to be a CD. Now it's finally on record.
oh.
But of course, an insanely, stupidly limited version press of a CD. So what?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I put this on. Wow. Like, they fucking still got it. It's a
Still got it.
great Japanese hardcore record. Was a CD on, I guess, Break the Records.
Break the Records.
Yeah, and now it is out on like 6 different.
Oh, it's one of those.
I'm not really sure, you know, who actually.
I
put
thought
it out.
maybe Break the Records also did the 7-inch.
I thought so too,
You're
man.
right. Yeah, no, Break the Records all the way at the bottom here.
1/8.
Yeah. But like, I mean, yeah. So what if you don't know like a classic Japanese hardcore band from Shizuoka that had like gigantic mohawks, bands like who else? Rustler, Swindle Bitch, Zamza, Innocence. Yeah. What else? Zone. You know, like it got better and better, and these guys were always like a lot tougher than the Tokyo bands. No offense to the Tokyo bands, but like, yeah, they were a little bit outside in the countryside. They didn't know better. They had the biggest mohawks they could find, the most camo boots and everything, and like cargo pants that they could wear.
Did they also do the chicken bone necklaces, or was that maybe later or different?
Sure, I'm sure they did. You know, yeah. But like, so what I can tell, so the last record was like 1990. Mm-hmm. This is 2017 when it came out, so it's been a few years. I think 2 members are the same from 1990, but I don't know if any of the original like So What members are actually playing on this.
I know the vocalist is definitely not the same guy from the old like comps and stuff, but he looks like one though. He's got the biggest mohawk of all of them.
Yeah, so like I vaguely remember seeing them at some Chelsea gig. Like I think Mike, you were at least in Tokyo with me. I don't remember much because we were probably drinking too much, but it was good from what I recall. But this thing is like guitars are super loud, amazing solos that don't go on too long. Drums are really heavy, big breakdowns, and just like gruff, heavy, really fucking good vocals. And then like the bonus is you get an Innocence cover.
Oh,
so
Shelly!
If anybody is a big Innocence, freak like myself, yeah, this is really nice. So if you can get a copy right now, the US dollar is really strong against the yen. So you could probably order a copy from a Japanese record store if they're not sold out yet.
Yep.
Highly recommended. Comes with a very beautiful sticker. Oh, so what? Hardcore Pride.
I want to say Shizuoka Hardcore kind of had its own sound, which kind of came from Lip Cream, but they had their kind of own sound down in Shizuoka, I want to say.
Yeah, like when you listen to those first flexies on Dis Records and all that stuff, like they were all, you could tell they all played together. They all had their own thing. And it started off really like rudimentary, just like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But then somebody learned how to play a solo, and then it just went from there,
I'm going to say like the best Shizuoka Hardcore record is that fucking, that compilation, Who's Chained Up to the Dogs of Outrage.
That's a classic.
Is that the toilet cover one?
Yes.
Okay.
That record is like it's up there with one of the best Japanese hardcore, but nobody cares. It's on Vinyl Japan. It's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess my favorite band I've ever heard from there, Zamza, like only a demo.
Zamza is pre-Innocence. Like Zamza turned into the Innocence. Zamza is pre-Innocence.
Right. Yeah, so seeing Akihito, I can't remember exactly his name, but Aki, who's playing drums in Forward now, and he played in like Swindle Bitch, and he played in Innocence and everything. Like, I think luckily through him, a lot of that stuff is coming back to the forefront because FOAD did all those reissues.
I just got one actually. That band Cemetery was also from Shizuoka.
I was just listening to that the other day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay, it's like one of the brothers from someone from So What, I think. Band.
Okay.
Perhaps.
One of the brothers from
One of the brothers.
Understood. Say no more. Yeah. So yeah.
So what?
So what?
8 minutes of rage.
Murder. I was going to tell the story. I saw them in like 1991, and it was like that time when I think it was the original members, but like they'd stopped putting their mohawks up, and they were wearing like skate wear, and people were angry with them.
Well, like Deadless Moss.
Yes, because they weren't like doing the mohawks anymore, and they weren't like they were wearing like skate gear and stuff. But they were great. I saw them in like I think it was like 1991.
No, did they cut the mohawks or were they?
No, they just had them floppy, hanging down.
Okay, that's its own look.
That makes sense for 1991. They looked like
right.
They looked like they were in Prong or something. Probably.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right, Dennis. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Likewise.
Been a few years.
Yeah. Definitely.
What you got?
I'm going with a metal band from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh.
They had a recent album. This is not the record I'm doing, but it's band Bloodstar. This is like a 12-inch EP. This is the one I'm doing though, the 7-inch. This record, just two songs, 7-inch, but incredible. Traditional heavy metal,
Nice.
woman vocalist, high vocals, melodic vocals, really upbeat. Like when my buddy Matt Toscan and I went to see some other band in Akron, but they were opening and touring with them, and they played, and I was just blown away. This is just like right up my alley, like the exact kind of music I just could just listen to all the time. But it was probably a couple of years ago. This came out, I think, in 2020, and I've pretty much just been listening to these songs. And there's they released a couple songs just online too, but I've just been listening to them nonstop.
Nice.
Incredible stuff. The singer, she probably gets this, but she looks like a mini Doro Pesh or something. But great, awesome stage presence. Just one guitar player. Yeah, and the LP, I was a little disappointed in the LP. Or the 12-inch. It's an EP, 6 songs or so, but it's really good. But I was kind of hoping, just based on how much I love the 7-inch, that was going to be just unbeatable. I think one of my favorite newer metal bands in that style is probably the Satan's Hollow 12-inch, and I thought it was going to be even better than that. That's what I was hoping for, but not quite. So yeah, I'm going to go with the 7-inch, but yeah, probably one of my favorite little metal pieces of plastics that I've gotten in the past few years.
Dennis, when you say trad heavy metal, are we kind of talking Metallian, Haunt, that kind of ballpark, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'd say kind of, but on the upbeat speed metal-y side. Right. I wouldn't quite call it that because it's still a lot of down picking, not a lot of super fast melodic stuff, but yeah, still down picking, headbanging, but upbeat and kind of that speed.
Right.
And that 12-inch has kind of some more, a little bit slower than that. I kind of wanted it all to be like that, but that's okay. That's just my expectations, not their fault. It's still super good though too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of lacking the bands to compare them to, but
I'm gonna have that problem in my next pick. So we're in this together.
Yeah,
it is tough to compare. You want to make a comparison, and if you can't, it's but
yeah, I don't really know what I'd say. I mean, I don't know, really. I mean, there's a little bit of an 80s vibe, but it sounds modern also at the same time. Really, one of the songs about how we're killing the earth, and I mean, it's just great. That's evergreen content for me. Those kind of 80s metal lyrics, I'll just eat it up all day.
I hear you. Came out this year, last year, recently?
The 7-inch was 2020, and then the 12-inch was this year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this was
nice.
I think the 7-inch is self-released, maybe. Possibly, yeah. And then the 12-inch is on something. Oh my god, I'm like losing my sight. Shadow Kingdom. The 12-inch.
All of a sudden, I became blind.
Yeah.
Bloodstar.
I
Nice.
think you can tell how they sound just from that picture.
Pretty much,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Helix, maybe?
Right, yeah.
No,
There's some like Judas Priest influence for sure. I'm sure like this dude's a guitar player. He looks like, you know, he plays a Telecaster. Well, he looks like a guy that plays like a weird Yamaha guitar. And I think he actually does. It's like a Yamaha looking Telecaster, you know, one of those prodigies. He's in one of those like traditional bands. What are they called? Damn it. I'd have to look and see. Should have.
Get back to us.
Yeah.
Oh, let us know in the comments. There you go.
Will do.
Yeah, come on, chat.
All right. Matt, what you got? First
Oh,
page.
God. All right.
Oh, God. It's your turn.
Well, like Jesse, that the right way. I'm going with a short, sharp shock.
That was my idea. Yeah.
I never see anyone talk about this band, and maybe there's a reason for that I don't know about, or maybe I have bad taste. I don't know. They're a Japanese band,
Oh,
so maybe you two can tell me
why no one
if there's
talks
a
about
reason. But it is the Assault
Oh,
7.
nice.
Visigoth.
Sorry.
There's a Visigoth on the
Dennis
cover,
sent me a private message saying Visigoth, so I had to shout it out.
Oh, I couldn't figure out how to put it in
Okay,
the
right.
regular chat.
Sorry. Assault.
Okay. Maybe this is a hot take. One of my favorite Japanese hardcore records, because there is a vibe on this one that like it's not on their other records, and it's not. I don't hear it in a lot of records. It's it's raging hardcore, and it has that like that sort of melodramatic kind of riffage that I don't want to say it's like Stadium Crust or that kind of thing. This will have those occasional kind of
There's
riffs,
a
but
slight smell of it in the air with that band. Like
yeah,
just a
but
tinge.
I don't mind it on this one. I think it works. It's
Great. Yeah.
There's like a weird grim vibe to this, even though it's still very fast, like catchy hardcore, and I like that every song stands out to me. Like it isn't just in one ear out the other. Like just they're all hardcore songs. They're all very, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
Japanese hardcore with like a kind of dark vibe to it.
It's very dark. It's very dark, but the solos are real. Like, I think they're good. Did that guitarist do other stuff?
One of my comments was going to be was when Paintbox did a tour after Chelsea died. Guess who they got to play guitar? The guitarist on Assault. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the band Alliance was the band that he was in after, and
That's
12-inch.
another
cool.
amazing.
It's like $7.
I haven't heard that one. So
yeah,
it's great. Yeah.
Cool fold out too, that one, right?
Yes.
That's a really neat.
And it's
fold
still
out.
like super cheap. It's Alliance. It's got the light blue cover. That is a great, underrated, underlooked.
And same
overlooked.
vibe, similar vibe, as early Assault things. Yeah. I mean, not to cut you off, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's like when you're excited, you want to kind of chip in, right? With like,
no, that first Assault CD is like, I don't know if I had a favorite record beside that for a couple years. Once I got it in like the early 2000s, it's a perfect like 8 songs, and it all works together.
I really like that first CD, which I'm amazed it never got like a vinyl pressing.
Isn't there a vinyl version of like some Assault like 12-inch? Is it
the second record?
Second, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah,
which is
I haven't listened to that in a long time. I remember not liking it as much.
Different singer.
Yeah, they toured on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because on this one, I really like the vocals too. I know it's a different vocal.
put my neck out and say the singer of that band was then in Gates and then Church of Misery, and now he's a singer.
Is that Negi?
Negi.
Really?
Yeah, he was a singer of Assault.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was on the second LP, right?
Okay, all right. See,
I don't think it was on this one.
That's
it's
right.
a different singer on the good stuff. So the Negi is on the bad stuff, right? Is that what we're saying?
It's
Yeah,
not
that's what you
bad.
want.
It's just not as good.
One of his misses.
One of his misses.
Yeah, the vocals are just crucial to the personality of that record and that first CD. They're really like.
It's almost this like desperate yell that
kind of little
really fits with the vibe of this. At least it's very like, I don't know. It's a record that makes you want to really pump your fist at like a really overcast sky. Like it's.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I haven't thought about that band for a while. That's a great pick.
I never see anyone talk about them ever.
Love them.
I didn't know if there was a reason for that.
Yeah. Just they're kind of forgotten, a little bit forgotten.
Just one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone mentioned the Partners in Crime 7-inch too, but yeah, I think that record just destroys that Partners in Crime record. Like, just something about it, like it's just so unique. The guitar playing is so cool, and I think the sound is a lot better too. I mean, the Partners in Crime record is really good too, but like,
is that an HG Fact thing? That 7-inch?
No, this one is
it's self-released or a smaller label.
Okay.
Yeah, if they were the Loud Hatred.
Yeah.
Self-released, probably maybe self-released.
This is not normal hatred.
And I love in there's a little cutout and it says "Lord have no mercy." I just really remember that.
Yeah.
I put that on a flyer a couple
That's
times.
amazing. That's like a little touch that tells you like this is not your typical like Japanese hardcore record.
Yeah.
It is. It's very grim. It's the best way I can put it. It's a vibe I don't normally get out of like this style of music.
That's a great pick. That's a real nice reminder to kind of go back to. Good pick. Yeah. All right. Round 2. You know, I'm the king of the 700 yen bin or 500 yen bin. I like to pluck things out that I have no idea what they are and just give it a gamble. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. I feel like this gamble paid off because I've been playing this record a lot. Didn't know anything about the band. It was sat there in the used punk section for super cheap. I like the cover. Doesn't really look like a punk record. Let's have a look at it. It's this record by this band called Icon Gallery.
Hey.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dennis put out one of their records.
Who did? Dennis?
Dennis.
Did he?
Love that
Not this
band.
one, though.
No, not that one. That record's incredible, though.
Oh, man. I was like, I almost didn't show. So no one's going to know what this is. So it's like,
That record's great. That band was so good.
So good.
That record, that's the curse of that cover, though. Like, you wouldn't...
Yeah. Well, because I like prog and stuff. It didn't scare me, you know? So I was all in with like, okay, this is punk record that looks like this. I'm going to buy it. So, yeah, it's great. And
oh my God,
this is the record that I wasn't quite sure how to do justice to it with words. But it's kind of mid-tempo punk, but it has a real like rock bass to it, I want to say. There's the singer's fucking amazing. It's Chani. She was in Aphasia, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of could be in that band that you showed. She has this really like amazing, like almost metal singing voice.
Oh yeah,
her voice is powerful. Like
it really is. Kind of sometimes it's not at odds with the music, but it really like lifts it above the normal like mid-tempo punk of this general genre of music, I want to say. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it was like one of those records that first players, I like this, but nothing's really jumping out. It reveals itself after several plays. It's got those kind of melodies that don't really hit you the first time. They're kind of hidden a little bit. And then it's like, oh man, this song's amazing. Oh man, this song's really good too. And it's like, it's really, really good record.
Yeah, 100%. Because they had a couple, like a demo and a couple 7-inches before that I instantly loved. And I remember when that came out, I wasn't super into it at first, and then it just caught on, and I was like listening to it constantly.
It's one of those, right? It's like it doesn't hit you right away. You've got to sit with it for a bit and like give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. When I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this fucking rules."
Nice, man, nice.
Yeah, you're smarter than us.
Yeah, we're a bit slow on the uptake. But yeah, Pittsburgh band, right? Pittsburgh band, like and this is from like 2010. Like we're talking about the comparison thing. I was thinking of all these other bands. No, it doesn't sound like that band. It doesn't sound like that. I get like a tiny little hint of like Jingo de Lunch every now and again.
Oh my god!
Right? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and I said that to her one time, and she listened to them. She's like, "Oh God, I hope I don't sound like them." I was like,
it totally does a little bit. That's like it's not quite as like Berlin, like We Love AC/DC, like denim jacket kind of music, but it has a little bit of that like rock in there. So
yeah, they get a lot of comparisons to Signal Loss too. I think.
I was going to say that, but
fair, but
no, I don't. No, I think this is different, a little bit different. Something different about it. Great.
What hasn't been talked about yet with them and on all their records, I think the guitar playing is fantastic in this band. And to me, that's what like the vocals and the guitar playing are what make that band. Because it was like it's punk, but there's like some real like metal riffage, like very like traditional heavy metal riffage, I think, going on. And it works so well.
But it melds perfectly. It's not like jarring. It's like it just works very naturally. Yeah. Really, really great.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who to compare that band to.
No, it's tough. I just gave up. So I'm not going to compare them to anyone. But except a little bit of Jingo de Lunch, like every now and again. But, great gamble. Great record. Check it out. Icon Gallery. It's on Deer Skull Records. Don't know anything about that label. But one of the guys in this band, the drummer, played in Motto, M-O-T-O. Jesse's a fan of that band, right?
Yeah.
And he's in a band, and he was in Eel too. This guy Kevin, he was in
for a little bit,
and now he's in Vicious Blade.
Yes,
who I might talk about next week. We'll see, but because their new 12 inches is great. But yeah, that's my second pick. Icon Gallery, Pittsburgh punk. I didn't know you put out one of their records, Dennis. That's amazing.
Yeah, I got like 200 of their 7 inches still. So
there you go. You know who to contact. Check
Christmas
it out.
Presents for everybody.
Incredible 7-inch, by the way.
It's really good.
I'll give you one, Mike, because there probably aren't any in Japan. I don't know, but like next chance I send you something, I'll throw it in there. It's so good.
Nice, man. Great record. Really chuffed that I bought that record. You know, so you got to take a gamble sometimes, man. You got to take a gamble.
You won on that one.
Pam's from. Yeah, okay, we'll get Kevin on. Thanks, Pam. Pam told me a lot of stuff about the background of people in this band and stuff. So, yeah, great record. Check out the 7-inch. Contact Dennis. Put your name and address and your credit card details in the comments.
Solarfuneral.com is where you can.
There you go. All right, Jesse. What's your second?
Yeah. My next one, I think, like, probably is very easy to compare to a lot of other stuff, but I never knew the comparison, so I guess for me it makes it unique. But so this is something that, like, I think back when I started listening to like hardcore and stuff when I was in college, this is one of the first CDs I got, and recently I like ran across the LP version in a shop here in Ohio for $8. So why not, right? But it's something I think I listened to for like time and time again, because then I didn't really have a lot, you know. And I think I found out about them, like they had a single on Prank, and that was pretty easy to find in like record stores in DC and stuff. So like I picked that up beside a Death Threat Talk Is Poison 7-inch and like listened to that a lot. And then I saw the CD for sale in some catalog. But yeah, I listened to this a ton. Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
I think we had a few members of the band on the show, possibly. I think so. Like, so I think everybody compares it to Born Against.
That's what I was going to say. That's how I remember it being, like Born Against style.
Yeah. Like, I never heard Born Against before I heard them. So for me, you know, this is unique, right? Maybe for other people, it's like, oh, well, they're just a copy or whatever. But for me, like, when I was listening to this, when I started listening to punk and hardcore and stuff, it was really cool and really unique and just like not like anything I'd heard. It like, it lurches and it like growls and stuff. Like there's never a straight beat throughout a song. It's always kind of like part to part. And it's really cool in that sense because you can't really predict what's going to happen next. You don't like know, oh yeah, it's just going to be like a breakdown here, or it's going to be this going on there. So I think kind of similar to like maybe the Icon Gallery, the more you listen to it, the more you get into it kind of thing. So for me, because I listen to it nonstop in my car, like driving around college campus, Yeah, I like it a lot. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I've been listening to this a lot since I got an LP version. Yeah, it's on vermiform. The cover is just a screen printed piece of cardboard.
Nice.
Yeah, in typical vermiform style, like
love it.
The little stamp.
Beautiful.
So beautiful, unique. $8. Yeah, can't beat it for me.
I gotta revisit them. It's been a while.
Yeah, like I went the opposite. Like it was like after Born Again, so yeah, I would definitely be into checking it out again.
All I heard from them was that they had like a 5-inch split with the
Red
Scare. Yeah, that was the only thing I ever heard.
I think I've seen them at the Legion of Doom. I think they played there. I'm not exactly sure though. I think I liked them. I believe so.
Yes. Ringing praise.
No, I mean, yeah, that sounds negative, but like, if it's who I think it was, yeah, it was great. My memory's not good anymore.
Yes, instantly recognizable if it's who I think it was. But yeah, I mean, like, if you love weird hardcore, that's really heavy, this could be your bag if you haven't heard it before.
I feel like I might like that more now than I would have done at the time. It's one of those, maybe for me.
Yeah. Right on.
How do you well, never mind. I'm not gonna ask it.
Oh, now you gotta ask it.
Not gonna ask it.
Well, to me, like, it also, like, a weird comparison, like, probably this is why I decided not to ask it, because
no, but now I'm going to ask it anyway.
Well, because you guys are making me, but I was going to ask, like, how it compared to the first Antioch Arrow 12-inch, which I love. Like, I don't care for anything else they did, but that record, it's like an emo record, but it's still very hardcore, very raw, and very catchy. But I felt like it also kind of had some parallels with the band like that. But,
yeah, I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
It felt
yeah.
Right.
I don't know. We've had like that. Yeah, we've had that talk about how some like screamo bands or like early stuff is just basically, it's pretty decent hardcore, and like now we see, we played with some band the other night who was like, is this screamo? Like they're not billed as screamo, but they're definitely
they had their moments.
Beats and there's heavy
stuff. They're really sick.
Yeah. They were pretty good.
Grindy band, like whatever they were fucking sick.
Yeah, so when you mix all those styles up together, you can definitely get some good shit if you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just sounds horrible. Yeah.
Right. All right, Dennis, what's your second pick?
Me or Matt?
It's you.
It's you. Dennis.
All right, cool. All right. Am I allowed to do this? I think it's a collection.
Anything you like.
I'm going with the Psychisk Terror collection.
Terror.
Pretty
nice.
Pretty pumped about this because they're just kind of like one of those bands that was kind of mysterious a little bit because they were on the Norwegian the classic Norwegian comp, the Audrey comp, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it. I have no fucking clue, but they had we knew very little about them. We knew it was like members of Bandless and stuff like that who are just incredible. But it has like a really nice booklet in it. One thing that's kind of weird though, it doesn't collect everything. I don't know why. Because
really,
the booklet
that would drive me insane.
Some really early stuff. This is all stuff from 84 to 86. But I think there's a couple tape comps from like 83, and it's like talking about them at the beginning. This pretty nice booklet, really cool Nordic scene. This is apparently the practice space.
Wow.
They have a lot of really cool pictures in here of their practice space. There's another one that's like an early picture of people standing in front of it when it was a tuberculosis clinic. So it's got all these people with TB standing in front of the practice space. Like, just a lot of really cool shit in this booklet. But anyway, it doesn't put those first couple songs in there. It's just like talking about it. But we're not going to put them on here because maybe it got it seems like it got reissued on something, but I have no idea, I guess. But really cool because there's also some unreleased stuff on here that's later on, and it's got, you know, the dude Barr. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Barr Lovick, who I'm kind of like a fan of his guitar playing, total guitar maniac. Yeah, played amazing. In So Much Hate.
Yes.
Thank Dora again. I'm
Life,
sorry.
but How to Live It? Was that another guy? Is it the same guy?
I think he. So I had to kind of look at that one. I did a little research because I couldn't remember the Life but How to Live It connection, who I do love as well, and they're an acquired taste. I know, but
hey, Icon Gallery. There could be a slight comparison
in that vibe.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, like otherworldly guitar playing and just kind of beyond the scope of punk, I'd say. But yeah, that dude's guitar playing's ridiculous. Yeah, I guess he appears on some Life But How to Live It stuff, and there's a little connection, but he's not the main guitar player. Who
is also amazing, right? That other guy.
Yes, next level. Wow. And I think the story goes Barr taught him how to play guitar. I don't know, though. That could just be conjecture and urban myth. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, love So Much Hate. Love Captain Not Responsible, that 7-inch. Man, really cool, melodic, driving, hardcore. Like, I really love that record.
Norwegian hardcore, maybe... No, man, it should get more. It should be up there with Swedish and Finnish. They should be all equally loved and revered, I think.
I agree. It's you know, it's
barely heard any Norwegian hardcore.
It's different. Like
yeah,
I heard like weird. The Svart Berendts record, and that might be it. So,
I mean, So Much Hate. I mean, we could go on about Norwegian hardcore, but for a long time. But man, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, there's just something a little off kilter about it, which is what I love, and I think that's probably where because these guys usually get subjected to my like terrible sense of timing and stuff, my off sense of timing on some guitar riffs, but I think that's where that comes from a little bit. I just love that. But yeah, so Barr, the connection with them, they shared the practice space with Bandlist, couple practice spaces, but he recorded their first, like some of the early stuff, and he plays guitar on a couple of the later songs, and you can hear his style starting to develop because it's doing some like the weird raging stuff on it in that later stuff. But yeah, really raw lo-fi hardcore, but
with all those like amazing like guitar melodies and stuff that are still in there, even though it's like super raw.
Yeah, you really hear that in the stuff that Barr's on. But yeah, I'll eat this stuff up. Just this really piss raw bank officer.
It's the same singer as Bandlist, right? It's the same singer, right? Is that right?
I don't think so. I think they shared the drummer.
All right.
Well, they had several singers, so maybe they did later. I'm not sure. But,
yeah.
There's like at least three different vocalists on this.
I just got that export platter like bootleg, which has that compilation EP on it, and then all the other classic like the Svenkt-Gora 7-inch, all on like one bootleg.
Wow, damn. Nice.
So good, yeah. All the classic 80s. Yeah, hail to Norway, Norwegian hardcore.
Yes.
Hails. Skull. Or that's Sweden. I don't know.
All right, Matt, what's your next pick?
All right.
What you got?
So in the past, like, I'd say 2 years now, I've gotten really into not having to find music myself. I want other people to do it for me, whether that be mixtapes or radio shows. So I'd like to give a shout out to the La Vida es un Moose show on NTS. It's very good.
Paco.
And then buying like, there's been a lot of official comps now. Like you've talked about like the Heroes of the Night one that Reminder does.
Yep.
I think I've gotten real into like, I don't know how to put it, like it's like Killed by Death comps for non-punk sometimes. And then I don't know when. I think this came out this year. It's a bootleg comp.
Nice.
Of metal bands.
Oh.
And Dennis, give me a drum roll.
Sure you want
that? Real Steel.
Real Steel, man.
With a quality cover right there. It's just a sticker that's pasted on the red jacket. It's a bunch of like 70s and 80s American heavy metal bands. I don't know where the fuck these people find these records to like put these things out. It's insane. We got bands like Buster Cherry with the song "Sweet Evil." There are two sabotages on here. There's one from Texas and one from California. There's a band LA Rocks with the song "Cocaine."
Oh, yes, beautiful.
There's a band Swift Kick. But we can have our laughs and stuff.
What? Hey, I didn't read out the names on those compilations that I showed, so I can't.
But this record fucking rules. Like, as soon as you start it, I think that there's an art to a comp like this where you pick a song that, like, as soon as it starts, you're like, oh, I'm in for the ride now. And
I knew Jeff would be on board with this one. Like, it's right up his alley.
And I gotta say, Buster Cherry does a great job starting off the Real Steel comp with the song "Sweet Evil." Yeah, like it all, like, I don't know, it's music that makes me wish I knew how to like work on my car. Like, it's good, like, just, you know, tough metal. It's, well, not all of it's tough. Some of it's kind of wussy, but that's good.
Bit more rock and rolly, maybe.
Some of the tracks are a bit more rock and rolly, but the Buster Cherry song is like, it's good. Like, it's got, you know, cool harmonized leads and all that stuff. It's got everything you want. The only thing I don't like is that it's just
no liner notes, no info,
nothing. There's
you need a little bit of info, right? At least a little bit.
On the back, this is, you can't really. It shows like where they're from and the year it came out.
Especially all this obscure, bands.
You would think if they've gone to the trouble of finding all this, you could at least type out a couple of sentences, right, about each.
Yeah, but there is a volume 2.
Oh, wow. I was going to ask you about
that. Which
that's
the same case. There's no liner notes, but this one has
full color. They put up the money for the full color label art, but
didn't buy a typewriter.
You can't afford the label, or you can afford liner notes after that. Come on.
So, in a way, there is like a
full cover label art.
There's like a kind of charm to it, and it, you know, and it makes you
the mystery.
It makes you want to look for this stuff.
Right, a little bit of mystery, right?
There is a bit of mystery because there's the label that is it Riding Easy. They do like the brown acid.
Oh God, they're into like volume 25 or whatever it is now.
Well, they started doing one called Scrap Metal.
They did, yeah.
Which is very similar to this.
Right.
They find these old American metal records.
Yes.
I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Like, I don't even care what the genre is. If you can curate it well, I'll buy it. Like, so anyone in the chat, if you want to curate a mix or something for me, I don't care what it is, I'll listen.
Is there a
record or anything?
Jesse?
Is there a War Minister track on there anywhere?
There's no War Minister. I thought when you brought that up, I went to look.
Yeah,
we do have we have Crimson Cross and Wicked Sin, Strike Force.
I hope Wicked Sin is
from Ohio.
Cool.
No Raw Energy from Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite parts about like Killed by Deaths and stuff is like, even though the descriptions were completely made up, that made it even better, right? You know, like talking about how the singer killed his mom and shit like that. It's like, ooh, whoa, this is fucking cool. Yeah, like make it up. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I would like, because these guys know you can release anything. If it comes with a big booklet full of like flyers and stuff, I don't care what it is. Like, Seal Records could put out some compilation of like a band that's just a bunch of squatters yelling at a trash can. But if it came with a 20-page book of flyers, I'll buy it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers to honesty.
All right, round 3. I'm gonna change things up a little bit. I'm gonna go dark and mysterious and soft and old. I just basically described myself there. But it's like I had COVID a few weeks ago, man, and I just didn't want to listen to like any loud music. And this is one of my favorite singers of all time, like anyway. But like during that week and the recovery period, like my love for her records grew like even more, because I think she's amazing. It's a Japanese singer. She's got like a whole bunch of records out. Maki Asakawa. Anybody familiar? I thought Jesse at least might have been. When you see the record, you'll probably think, yeah, I know. So like,
yeah,
she put out her first record in like 1970. So this is like her first record. Maki Asakawa's World.
Fuck, that looks cool.
She's all right. People love her. Like, just, I've got like most of her records. I didn't bring them all out. But this is like her first album from like 1970. Maki Asakawa. I mean, basically, she's like a blues jazz singer, but she has that like anchor in there as well. Like, it's kind of like this dark. Like, all the songs are kind of a little bit depressing, and like she has this just an amazing singing voice, very effortless. She's always in like the lower register, and you can tell she smokes and drinks a lot, and she just like exudes cool, like from every pore. And I think she's incredible, and like she has like a whole bunch of records. But stay with me. So this is like the first one from 70. This is not my pick. I'm getting to my pick. But and then like we come into the 80s, and now she's like doing this. This is called One. I think this is like her first or second record from the 80s. This one has like tape looping and stuff on it, like experimental stuff, but her voice is still exactly the same. This like very low register, like husky smokers, jazz, blues voice. And she got like a bunch of like Japanese free jazz players on a lot of her records. But yeah, like the 70s stuff is kind of more well known, I think, than the 80s stuff. There's a compilation, like Honest Don's put out a record, like a double LP comp of like a greatest hits thing, which is easy to find, like stateside. But like, if you're like it's okay as like a primer, I guess. But actually, that's a good point. Keiji Haino did kind of like steal his look, I think, a little bit. Absolutely. But yeah, so it's like she like put out 11 records or 10 records in the 70s, 10 or 11 records in the 80s. And then we move into the 90s. She was still going in the 90s. She was like my age by that time, like 54, 55, 56. Never before released on CD until today. Literally today where you are, yesterday where I am. Like 2 of her records from the 90s got released on vinyl. I got them both just yesterday, and I was listening to them both last night. I mean, look at this. Come on. Like, just iconic photography. This is from 1996.
Just all of her record covers cool.
Pretty much all of them have a picture of her on the cover, like smoking in black and white. There's a couple that don't, but most of them have her on the cover, smoking a cigarette on the cover, just looking amazingly cool. This is one like it's from 1996. Jesse, like sometimes you go to a punk gig and you'll get like a Japanese punk gig and you'll get like a band, like you can tell they like the Rolling Stones. So they play like kind of Rolling Stonesy kind of rock and roll, like
yes.
Loved. It's a good more like the Rolling Stones. This record is kind of like that. It reminds me of like the Fools, who are like the classic Tokyo band. That it's weird. It's like a kind of anomaly in her catalog. But like, who was doing this in like 1996? Like doing like a Japanese rock record. It's very like. Who cared about this stuff in like 1996? I don't know, but it's decent. I would not start here if you're kind of checking this. If you're checking Maki Asakawa.
Yeah, we were in full second or third wave grunge ballads or some shit at that point.
Yeah, it's such a left field record for 1996. She's kind of going back to like the 70s, really. I mean, if you or even the late 60s, maybe. She's got a full band who obviously are into the Rolling Stones. So there's a lot of kind of rock songs. But then this one, the next one, this is from 1998. This is even way, way, way out there. And this has such a cool picture on the cover. This is her. Like, amazing. This one is like super dark. It's like all very quiet, dark ballads. You know, she's like 56 years old. The voice is like super husky. I guess she died like not too long after. But this is like the last record she ever made. And, man, I'm a huge fan. I love every record she ever made, and I think she's great.
Man, pervert in a movie theater. Beautiful.
I mean, she's amazing. I mean, people say, well, okay, this is the thing that happens. People see the records and they're expecting something that they're not going to get. They're kind of expecting some really super avant-garde like music. And for the most part, it's pretty like in the pocket jazz blues, but her voice and the way she sings just lifts it above. Like,
is there like a good place to start with her, or just from
first
the
album? Start at
album.
the beginning. Start at the beginning with that first one. Or you could pick up that compilation that's on Honest Dons. It's easy to find. It's still out there. That wouldn't be a bad place to start. But
so, like,
I think she's great.
You know, we had that conversation about Hako Yamazaki.
Yes.
Where, like, some records, completely dark folk, like,
right,
listen to this in a cave and die kind of music.
Yeah.
Other records, like 2 tracks of that, and then, like, show tunes.
Yes.
So
I feel like Maki Asakawa, and I think this is why a lot of punks really respect Maki Asakawa. It seemed like she just did what the hell she wanted to. And, like, she never got, like, you know, put in a corner. It seems like she really just did what the hell she wanted to, and she did. So, you know, I'm going to do like tape looping in like on these records, and I'm going to get like 3 jazz guys in, and I'm just going to do what the hell I want. And it's like, none of her records like sound super commercial or like dictated to by the record company. They all sound like that's what she like wanted to do. So big respect. Big respect.
Those sunglasses choices definitely gives a vibe that she does what she wants. Those are like 80-year-old woman driving 12 miles an hour in front of you glasses.
She's amazing. I love her. My mission is like I'm still missing quite a chunk of her records in the collection. The ones from the 80s are a little bit hard to find, but I love her. I think she's great. So.
Cool. Yeah.
I've been meaning to talk about her for a long time, but I thought I'd do it today. There you go. Maki Asakawa, Japanese legend.
The first I've heard of her, so thank you.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, it's not for everyone, but yeah, she's great. All right. Moving along, Jesse, what you got?
Yeah, I don't have any dark and mysterious singer-songwriters, unfortunately, but
we don't need any more.
Dark and mysterious. This is something that I pulled out recently. Lost Sounds. Oh. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about them recently.
Yeah, so like we had a conversation, I think probably after I listened to this, but like, so I think, yeah, like I've heard a lot of conversation about egg punk. I've heard you guys talking about chain punk.
Yeah,
I don't know what it means.
Me neither. No. I still don't know what it means. I still
let's retire those terms.
Yes.
I think at times, yeah, when I've heard like the egg punk thing and I check out a band, I'm like, oh, that sounds a lot like early 2000s garage band. You know, like that shit's not new. It's been around, right?
Right.
So that made me think of Lost Sounds because lots of synthesizers, but also like a heavy dose of like Chuck Berry, a heavy dose of Devo. Like there's just great rock and roll going on. And I think like, so I'm a huge Lost Sounds fan. I have, I think pretty much everything. And I remember not liking this one as much, but I put it on the other day when I was like organizing flyers or something stupid. And like, I totally forgot about whatever task I was doing and just started listening to it. And it's really fucking good. There's just like layers of sound that are going on in this thing. If you haven't heard Lost Sounds, you know, like I guess comparisons to things like Screamers. Yeah, again, like Devo, Retards. I don't know if anybody else has any other suggestions, but like it's just good synth-driven punk. And this one, like, I mean, I love that they list their synths used on the back in case you want to recreate it with your friends. Or they're like complete nerds about synthesizers and they're like, oh, this one makes this noise and that one makes that noise. So like this album just from start to finish, it's long, but it like envelops you in a warm blanket. of like
Nice.
fuzz, and yeah, it's just really soothing to listen to, but also like unique. And I don't think you're going to find a lot of people who have the songwriting talents that like these people did, you know, like members of Naughty Nights, members of Retards, members of Nervous Patterns, you know, like tons of bands in the early 2000s in the Goner record scene. It's all these guys.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan. I really like this recently.
I remember, it's funny, when I first met Jesse, he was like super into all this garage stuff, and I didn't like it. Because I'm a little bit older than Jesse, so I've been through like the New Bomb Turks and all that kind of stuff. So that, for me, that was where I was kind of stuck in that, and I didn't want to listen to anything beyond that, right? But now I get it. Like years later, I go, okay, Jesse was correct. But you know, at the time, I don't want to listen to anything like post New Bomb Turks or Gaunt or any of those bands. You know, this is like, that was my like threshold for garage at the time. But
picking on the Columbus bands, damn.
I mean, like, yeah, in the early 2000s, I was way into like Chicago Blackout, Horizontal Action or whatever. Yeah, like all of that label and that scene and everything was great. And then I came to Japan and nobody was playing that. Like all this 77 punk bands were like, they drink Coke instead of like beer, you know?
Yeah, I remember you being disappointed by going to these shows. Like everything's like so tame over here. And it's like, you know, like.
Yeah. So that just really confused me, you know? Because like I also saw like Teen Generate play at Dot Dash in New York, and they were fucking wild, you know? They're like jumping off the walls and shit. It's like,
that's like where I kind of, my cutoff point was that Teen Generate, New Bomb Turks, all that rip-off records, really I'm talking about, right? Rip-off records, Crypt records, all that kind of stuff.
Estrus, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then like in the early 2000s, like Goner, you know, did a bunch of stuff. Empty Records did a bunch of stuff. So yeah, like there was a whole nother scene. And
and I now appreciate it. All these years later, I appreciate it. Sometimes it takes time, right? Sometimes you got to kind of discover it for yourself. You know, so.
Right. Just like I never liked this one initially, but like boom, it came to me finally. I understood it.
Yeah, Lost Sounds brought something new to that too, though. You know, like it was like fresh and really driving and really spooky, and like they used some really cool effects. Like they freshened it up. It was really good. I don't think I've ever really listened to them much on record, but saw them a few times, and they were always incredible. I'd probably really like it now. I think then I was just Mr. Hardcore or whatever.
Same.
Yeah.
They had big ideas.
All right, Dennis.
Me again. All right. Yeah, maybe this is just the weird round. I kind of went with a weird pick.
Cool.
For this one.
James is here. Let me just show James's comment before. Will Jesse ever be penalised for sneaking bonus picks into his phone? Yes, after the show, I'm going to punish him. Sorry. There you go.
He's clearly showing off.
Yes, it's like, look over.
What about me?
It's like,
everybody has.
Everybody has.
Yeah, I got all this stuff.
All right, Dennis, man, what you got there?
This is a Columbus synth act from the mid '80s, 85. Two people, and this dude, God, what is his name? Gerald. This guy, they were kind of before my time. I don't know any of them or really know anyone that knows them really, except for kind of like some of the old folks that are a little older than me. But this dude, Gerald Nelson, and Dana Riyashi, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but just like kind of like dark synth type music, really infectious sounding. They kind of came out of this other band that was like very like lo-fi, very similar. What are they called? Post-industrial noise. Actually, I was talking to my buddy Brandon about it, but yeah, it's like because I was
that the band name? Yeah.
Post-industrial noise. They didn't do a lot. They did like there's like a tape and a flexi or something, but it was like it's very lo-fi. Like the drum machine kind of sounds a little bit like a toy, but it's just really like driving and really kind of like catchy as well. Like almost not quite going into like video game music, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, just kind of like cool, dark, just like catchy synth stuff. So this is kind of like the next level. There, I think what happened, one of the members left. So there's just the two that did this. This one only has 4 songs. But yeah, just super good, really great stuff for like driving at 2 a.m. But it did get reissued. And there's a bunch of like bonus tracks on it. I think it got reissued on a double album, but yeah, check it out. Like I would search maybe for the song Visions, which is the first song. It's probably the best song on it, but Visions by Near Paris, just really like catchy, really well done. I don't know this label, Imperial Records. I think this is the only thing they did. It might be connected to Magnolia Thunder Pussy, the record store in town. Because I think that's why I bought it. I didn't even know what it was, and I was looking at it and had, I think I saw Chuck Kubat's name on it, who owns that store, and he's the landlord of the Legion of Doom. He's a character, but funny guy. But yeah, yeah, really neat. I don't know what else to say about it, but really, really freaking cool.
It's cool looking record. Show it again, Dennis. Like Near Paris.
Near Paris.
Man, look at that.
Modern art.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been delving into a lot of that old like synth stuff too recently. A lot of great
yeah,
stuff.
it's just perfect for the time. You just
Right.
know what it sounds like just by looking at that. 1986.
Beautiful.
Pretty well done.
Near Paris. Matt, what's your pick? What you got?
All right. Let's see. Jesse, give me a drum roll here.
He's the best drummer in hell is here. Oh! I showed that record on the show.
What? I looked at the list.
That was nah, it's okay. Hear me out here. So I showed that on the episode that got cut off by YouTube's. It got cut off like 45 minutes into the show.
Oh.
And we were going on with the show, and it never, like, you know, over half of it never went on air. But that was one of the records I had. And then in the next show, I quickly said, hey, this one would have been in last week's show, but we got cut off, and then we moved on to like the picks of the week. So that's why it's kind of buried. So let's talk about it again, because we kind of glossed over it a little bit. So
did it come out this year?
I feel like it's in my records that came out this year pile, but I could be wrong.
I think it did. It was sort of I was buying some stuff from a distro. It was Beach Impediment. And I saw this in here, and I thought, what the hell? I'll try this out. This record is incredible. Like it or good. It's
let's check what it is first before we talk about it. Ninth Circle.
Ninth Circle Disemerge.
Yep.
Is that dis emerging? I don't know.
Texas band, right?
Yes. I guess lazy ways to describe it would be like it's like black metal punk. I've seen like a Gizm sort of comparison, which let's stop comparing bands, because all that means is there's gruff vocals and guitar solos. That's all that means.
And the guitar playing is never good enough to earn the comparison.
Well, the guitar playing on this one's fucking great.
Well, yeah, maybe that when I see it usually.
Well, the guitar player they have now that doesn't play on that record is the guitar player, that fucking guy who played in all the great Texas D-beat bands that everyone loves. The guy from
Victor.
Let us know in the comments. I'm kind of forgetting.
The dude with the big hair?
No, it's like the guy from fucking. I know all the great like Texas like D-beat bands and punk bands. They have this amazing guitar player. He doesn't play on that record, but he's in the band like now. Am I getting this right? Let us know in the comments. I could be talking out of turn here, but I think I'm correct.
What? I feel like I should hold this up while I talk about it. What? This record reminds me of. I think it reminds you of that band Parasite from Japan. Like that last record they did.
Kind of like that, yeah.
But this sounds like what I think Parasite wanted to do with that record. Like, this is a lot fuller, and there's like, I don't know. To me, it's all about the guitar playing on this. It's really like heavy metal like playing and like solos and stuff over a blackened thrash attack. But it's really good, and all the songs will get stuck in your head, and there's I don't know. I'm a sucker for if you do some like cool guitar harmonies, I'm in. There's a lot of them on here.
It reminds me a little bit of that band Zorn that Sorry State put out their record too. It's kind of in the same ballpark a little bit. Nope.
To me, Zorn is more like Devil Master, which I think I've seen this band get compared to as well, but
I think I also was guilty of comparing them to Devil Master a little bit in the guitar work.
There's parts of it that are like that, but then once the solos and the more like metallic parts come in, it's a completely different thing. Right. I don't think Devil Master does that.
Right.
They're more spooky. This band's not very spooky.
True. Isn't on Todo Destruido record as well, like the punk label?
And Esos Malditos punks.
Yeah, so it's like punks doing metal, right? Pretty much, I think.
Yeah, which sometimes that can be a little iffy, but they do it well.
It's a good record.
So,
it's great.
And I don't know if it'll show up here. The back cover is
nice.
I think we got some turtlenecks.
The guy with the guy with the blue Texas.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where was this? That doesn't look.
Oh, it must have been Texas.
Sure, shit ain't Texas.
No, last year there was that huge snowstorm.
Oh yeah, everything shuts down when they get.
What a photo opportunity that made.
Right. Picture of the album.
But that record's real good. I didn't buy a lot of like new stuff this year, but this one I did, and I was glad I did. It's good.
Yeah, check that out. Sounds
it's good. Yeah, like I said, it got cut off in the episode that was like that, so it never got properly.
Now it gets its chance.
Never got properly shown. So there you go. Nice, man. Talking about garage punk, as luck would have it, my fourth pick is exactly that. But I've got two. Which one do you want to see? I've been listening to like two garage punk records a lot recently. One is from like 2009. One is from like 2014. Which one would you like? You're gonna get both of them anyway. But which one would you like?
Well, let's start with 2009.
Yeah, this is the one I'm not actually going to talk about, but I wanted to show it just a little bit, just to kind of because I think people might like this record. It's kind of a classic, and it's the Hex Dispensers.
That's one of those names I've seen, but I don't know anything about.
I thought Jesse was going to jump out of his seat when I showed this. But
I never listened to him that deeply.
Okay.
But it's good shit.
This is like more, I call it like Marked Men, like, Red Dons.
That family.
That kind of sound, right? So it's pretty straightforward.
You're still looking for a name for that genre.
Yeah, so I keep like tied in knots every week.
Note melodic punk.
Well, Jordan has said just call it garage punk, but it doesn't really do it enough justice just to call it garage punk. But you've got to add some other words to it. It is a good record. This is not my main pick, but this is a great record. The Hex Dispensers, 2009, Douchemaster Records, great Red Dons, Marked Men type punk. This is my pick that I wanted to talk about. Is this record overlooked? Maybe. This is great. I think it's fucking amazing, actually. It's like this band called Predator.
I've heard of that.
The Complete Earth. This has a lot of the big garage men in it, like guys from GG King and the fucking Carbonas and Gentleman Jesse. Atlanta. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I have a Predator 7-inch, but I never went past that.
Does it have like
I saw that much else.
Does that 7-inch have almost like a red grid sort of?
Yeah, it's on Total Punk, so it's like a.
I've heard one song from that, and it was really good.
Yeah,
I never bothered to listen to the rest.
I mean, this record is like it has that Marked Men core going on, but it also has all this other it's kind of sinister. It's kind of dark. It's like kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like there's like samples in them, and they do like an instrumental that is a little bit like later era Black Flag. It's a little bit more meaner and nastier and like grimy and sleazy than like most of this like marked men and red Don stuff. I think this is great. It's like it's adding like something new to like the basic template of like this kind of garage punk. I think it's really good.
That's 2014.
2014. I think it's like their second or third album, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think there was a lot of that influence of like Lumpy and the Dumpers and like Buck Biloxi and shit. Like everybody wanted to be grimy and weird, and so it's nice to hear somebody did it tastefully.
I think it's great. It's like you're not really quite sure like what's going to come next, which is sometimes a good thing. Sometimes not a good thing. If you're in the mood for just a party, don't put this on. It's like, Jesus, where did that come from? You know, it's like kind of that frightened me a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, it's great. Predator. And I just like the whole aesthetic of it. It's like it's just an intriguing looking record with the bleach on the cover and like very kind of minimalistic looking, and it's on. Yeah, good stuff. Sinister garage. There you go. Is that a new genre?
Sure.
I know.
Mysterious garage.
I was saying to you, Jesse, like haunted house garage, like some of that lost sound stuff.
I haven't been having a good time with this record. And there's a little connection to a band I talked about before because Jesse said they're from Atlanta, Georgia, and one of the guys was in that band Mercenary, who are like more of a like D-beat kind of band. They had the demos LP. I think who put that out? I forgot. Sorry State maybe put that out. Maybe I showed it on the show like last year or this year. Mercenary. So there's one member of Mercenary that was in Predator. So that's an interesting kind of crossover.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a mercenary, he'll go for anybody.
Probably
right?
a predator.
UK. Yeah.
Predator, check it out if you like Mysterious Garage.
Sinister.
That's it. Thanks, Jeff. Beach Impediment.
Nice.
Put out the Mercenary record. There you go. All right. Thanks, Jeff. All right, Jesse. Take it away.
Okay.
What is this, number 4?
4.
Yeah. Something I've been digging. Deletar from France.
Showed that one too.
What? Did it get cut off? It wasn't in the list. Yeah, I mean,
great. But it's worth showing. It's amazing.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah. Like, so my first exposure to them was the 7-inch, our buddy Momo. I think almost everybody here on this call knows Momo. Put out alongside with Bufa, the guy who plays guitar in the band.
Yeah.
I just listen to that thing nonstop. It's just so fucking catchy. And now I see like tons of references made to like Totalitar and stuff. I'll be, total poser alert. I never listened that much to Totalitar. Got a couple 7-inches, in my boxes. And I took those out recently when I was like looking through stuff like, oh, does it sound like Deletar? It does.
The clue's in the name, Jesse, I think.
It's in the Tar family.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah. Hey, some things fly over the radar with me. You never know. But yeah, second LP. Just released this past year, they just toured Japan on this thing. Yeah. I'm sure it was fucking great. I wish I could have been there. I missed it by a week when I was there.
That's right. You were.
Yeah. But I just love this. Like, I mean, the songwriting's phenomenal. I feel like every song kind of builds into this huge wave that then just crashes down on you. Like they know how to write songs where it's just like build, and then like crazy guitar solo and like everything gets faster. Everything is so catchy. Like French language works so well with this kind of stuff. I mean, some French punk, sorry, French friends, but not my thing. This very much my thing. Very good. Yeah, I don't know. Like I got a bunch of really cool stickers with it too. So I love my Deletar Judgment sticker. It'll go on the bass at some point.
I have a bunch of Deletar stickers as well hanging about.
Yeah. So
I feel like they got looked over a lot at the beginning because they're from France and not from a Nordic country, but I don't know if people are paying attention by now. Hopefully,
France has been.
When this record came out, a lot of people were talking about this one.
Were they?
Yeah,
it seemed to be.
Yeah,
it's like to me, it's like such a step up from their other records. It's almost like a different band to me. It's like, okay, this is like.
Yeah, actually, I haven't heard this one.
Oh man, it's
like I remember the one before, like kind of there's some ebb and flow. There's like the acoustic song or whatever, it's like, interesting. But this one is just like nonstop,
huge, big production. There's a little bit of Japanese hardcore in there as well. I want to say.
No, I mean, like, yeah, like I don't know Bufa that well, like, but I mean, he loves Japanese hardcore. I met the dude at a Rocky in Sweden show in like 2003, and like we've kept in touch since then and stuff. But like knowing that he does this band, like, it's totally studied, like, and he loves what he's doing. So it's really,
really great. Really good record.
Yeah, and supposedly U.S. tour next year. So hopefully we'll get to see him here in the States. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know which area of the U.S., left or the right side?
I do not know, but we'll try to get him in Columbus, Ohio for sure.
Yeah. Come to the right side.
Yes, we're in the middle.
Don't go to the middle.
Go everywhere.
There's nothing in the middle.
Dilita. France has so many great bands like these days. All genres, the post-punk, punky stuff, like
for sure.
So much.
Yeah, unsung country, man. So much good music. Giant fan of French punk music.
Yeah.
So much good shit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weird stuff too. The French have like a weird. I don't know if I'm imagining this. We need to talk to Luc Ardeluz about this and confirm or deny. But a lot of the French bands that I've seen that come over, they just have this weird, just fucking off attitude all the time. I don't know if it's because of like
they don't talk to anybody.
What's that?
They don't talk to anybody, kind of thing. Like
like goofing off all the time.
Oh, okay.
And it's like weird because like especially like we saw some French grind bands that came through this band Whores Nation, which were the name's terrible, but they were holy
better
shit,
than Buster Cherry.
Raging incredible grind music, so good. But they played with they were touring with some other bands, and they were all just like so goofy and silly.
Oh wow,
and it's just so funny. I don't know if it's like just part of the culture, or maybe it's just who I've been exposed to. I don't know.
Could be French grind bands on tour.
Yeah,
probably not seeing them at their best. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Any observations about the French abroad? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
All right.
France off. Great music from France.
Yes, absolutely, totally agree.
This I gotta check that record out. So this one, probably a weird pick. I'm probably the only one that likes this band, and I'm pretty much, since I started getting into them in high school, I'm pretty much always listening to them, and my favorites just kind of changed between different albums. But this one is kind of in the classic albums of their albums. But I encourage people, if they've listened to some of their other albums and didn't quite like them, maybe you'll like this one. This is Bad Religion's album Against the Grain. It's probably
I thought so. I saw a glimpse of the cover.
Saw a little bit of it. Yeah. Fourth album, I think, from 1990.
Fourth, right? It's like the third one in that classic trilogy of Suffer, No Control, and then Against the Grain.
And something about this, it's a little different. It's kind of got this 90s alternative little vibe leaking in a little bit, but this album, it doesn't sound formulaic. You might think Suffer and No Control kind of have this formula where it almost sounds like there aren't real people playing it because it's so perfect. I don't know how they did it. It's before you were able to map the drums, and maybe they used a click track. I have no idea. Or these drummers were just insane. I don't know, but this it sounds more like a real recording. It's a little noisier, I think. The guitars are a little bit more dissonant. You can kind of tell he's playing some kind of Fender guitar. It's kind of noisy and thin sounding, but the drumming is just fucking raging. I don't know. And you can hear the hi-hat really loud, and the lyrics are in this band too. It's kind of amazing to me that I've always felt like the lyrics are pretty right on. I mean, they have a certain sense of humor that some people might find a little tacky, but I don't think I've ever really. This band has like 20 albums or something at this point. It's insane. They just played in Columbus, and Amanda and I went and saw them, and it was so good. It was so fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I've never like read their lyrics and just thought like, oh no, dude, I don't agree with that. Like, it's like they just consistently like pretty right on, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, just love this album and the drumming on it. And I'd actually say this is like the most raging pop punk album there is. I think. I don't know. It's so damn good. And you probably can't even call it pop punk. I don't know. Is it pop punk? I don't know.
No, it's that era where like it's like before, it's like pre like Green Day blew up and all that kind of thing. So it's still, I don't know, man. I guess it. I don't know. It's like Southern Californian hardcore, really, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. There's, you can still hear a little discharge here and there, but then at the same time, like, I don't know if it's because I got into the Pixies at the same time, but I almost feel like there's a little bit of that energy in it too, which gives it a really cool sound.
I like the next one too, Generator. That has even more of that like 90s stuff in it too.
Yeah, Generator's
like
great. Yeah, I think that's probably like the last of their like great classic.
Yeah, absolutely, for me,
classic records. Yeah, but I mean, I got to be honest too. Like, I kind of dove into all their stuff later because I realized over COVID, because I had nothing else to do, why not listen to every Bad Religion album that I missed? I kind of dropped off after Recipe for Hate or whatever. And,
me too.
But it's all good. I mean, it's all like a certain level of good, and I actually really like their newest album too.
Oh yeah,
like, yeah. It's different. It's not on the level of this, but like I think it's really good still. What's it called? The Age of Unreason, I think. Really weird cover. It's got like some statue head sitting in a car seat or something, but like it's really cool.
Man, it's funny because I remember like I was living in a squat in Bath in England at that time, and like Barr Religion were kind of our favorite band. We were like these crusty squatters. We like remember like flying to like Berlin. Crusty squatters that we were, flying to Berlin to see a Barr Religion and like No Effects show in Berlin in like 1988 or 1989.
Oh wow!
Being like, cool. And in Germany, right, they were big. I mean, big in Germany already then. So it was like this huge hall and like thousands of people. It was like I hadn't really kind of seen that before. That kind of that many people at a punk gig. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how they blew up like that. So 88, like. When was No Control? Was No Control 89 or 88? So
I'm not sure, but yeah,
that would have been a great time to see them.
Those three: Suffer, No Control, Against the Grain, Untouchable. Like,
Hopkin' Hell's pretty sick too, but it's different. It sounds a lot more dischargey. It's still really cool, but pretty different. But I saw them on the Generator tour, which was still really sick too. But,
I'm sure.
Probably not as cool as when you saw them.
Yeah, I mean, people like us can maybe look down, poo-poo Bad Religion a little bit, but man, there's undeniable. Those records are undeniable.
Yeah, it's fucking raging, man. Like, you turn this up in the car and just the drummer is kicking fucking ass. Like, it's incredible.
I feel with Bad Religion, it's like, it's one of those bands where like, if I just didn't get into them at a certain point, then I can't get into them.
Yep.
And so I've never tried to go back and see.
Makes sense.
See, I first heard them though in the video game Crazy Taxi. So that was my introduction to Bad Religion.
What's this game? You're just driving around, picking people up and dropping them off as fast.
You're driving a crazy taxi and you're dropping people off, and you listen to Bad Religion and The Offspring.
The Dreamcast classic.
Yeah.
All right, let's not go down a video game dark rabbit hole.
All right.
Dangerous.
I'm taking the reins of this show. Let's move on. Matt, what's your next thing?
All right.
What's your next?
I won't even request a drum roll or anything. I'll just bring it up. Jesse and Dennis and I were talking about this band while driving back from a show the other day, and so I threw this record on, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's good." Lavenden Totem with Mind Parasites.
Nice.
I like for this style, for noise punk, is that what we should call it? This is like, I think it's beyond that. This is a full, like this, now they are their own band. It's not just like the Confused logo spray painted in a haunted house. This is like Lament and Totem. It's, and what I like is that like they're like mid-pace songs, like the kind of dancier ones. They're so good at that. That is like their thing. They could do a full album of that and I'd be fine with it. And I think what also is good about them is, I mean, besides, I don't know if you can count the guitar because it's, you know, everyone's really good at their instruments in that band. And I also find her vocals, well, on this one, they're sort of more mixed in because they take some getting used to. But her, like the rhythm or like the phrasing, is that how it would be? Her phrasing is so good. It's so like, I don't know, it's this different kind of rhythm than a lot of those kind of bands do. And it's just, that's a really good record. It's a full album and it's not just track after track of like.
Yeah, to me, it's like one of the few bands of that whole super noisy crust bands that I can listen to often. I think they're amazing. Like, catchy songwriting, good songwriting, a lot of depth to it.
And I think though this album's so good that it makes it tougher to go back and listen to the earlier stuff to me. Yeah, they nailed it with this one.
It's a great record.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing we were talking about too is like it took them a long time to go from, you know, like something to something, and then they put out a bunch of stuff. But like it's another band that like takes 5 to 6 years to write the next record, and that you can totally tell. Like it sounds great because they're not just you know,
they didn't just fart this out. Like their thought went into this, into the packaging, into the sound, everything. I wish more bands would do that.
Yeah, it's wow.
Not the American way.
No, sir.
All right, last round, man. It's great picks so far.
Flying by.
I'm having a good time. Yeah. So I was gonna like kick off talking about this band by saying that they sound like a lot of other like bands from Finland, like contemporary bands. It's kind of my favorite kind of style of like contemporary like Finnish punk. And I've showed a couple of these records before, so I want to just do a quick refresher course on these bands before I show my real pick, because it's important. It's important to get some context. But then I kind of realized that this band doesn't quite exactly fit in with what I was going to talk about. So let me quickly whiz through my contemporary Finnish hardcore history lesson in like 4 records. This band, it's fucking amazing.
Love that band.
More leaning on Llama influence, maybe, but still they have their own thing going on, which is you'll get to my point when I show the next records too. This, man, you find these records for like 400 yen, 500 yen, like all the time over here. Why?
So catchy.
Why?
Dude. They're so catchy.
Come on, wake up, people. Like, this is like, these records are like modern day, like fucking classics in my opinion.
Wake up, llamas.
Yeah, wake up. So this is a great record. Another band that nobody seems to care about, as I told you, Matteo from the label was over here recently, and Kazu also put out this band's record. He still has like boxes of them in his garage, wherever Kazu like keeps his records. Sokia Piste, another Finnish band. Amazing. I've talked about this band before on the show. It's like melodic, a little bit off kilter, completely doing their own thing, but it does hark back a little bit to like that melodic, like Llama stuff. This band, Koplian Sukuputo, this record's fucking a complete rager. It's like melodic, it's fast, but it's like kind of completely unique. But it kind of like, it has like similarities to these other bands in the melodies and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like this, I don't know. And then another band is like this Bad Jesus Experience, which has members of this band in them. Like, so their first 3 albums are on like 10-inch singles. They're 10 inches, and then their 4th record. This is their 4th album. This is an LP. I showed this band before. Yeah, I just wanted to show them just like for context, because I was gonna like compare this band to all these bands, and there's definitely some similarities. This band might be the most well known of all these bands, and I'd never heard them before. Actually, Matto gifted me this record when he was in Japan the other day. I was very thankful to him, and I've been playing it to death. It's amazing. It's this band, Hero Dishonest. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like the band name. I don't really like the aesthetic of the record. But man, this has a lot in common with all of these bands. It's like completely raging but melodic, contemporary, like Finnish.
Is there something about the Finnish bands that just it's hard to market? Like they'll have some odd cover art or a really hard to pronounce name.
Yeah, I mean, this is their most recent record. Hang on, this came out in like 2019. It's their newest LP, and it's on If Society Records from Finland. I thought this band were like a little bit well known, like more than that, maybe not. I don't know. It's like, but it's totally that super. It's raging, but it has those like amazing like melodies that come from Llama or like any of those bands.
I've never checked them out because I've never liked the way any of their stuff looked. So I'm always like,
I mean, would I have bought this if I saw it in a record store? No, probably not. Right, but honestly, it's amazing. It's like super catchy, raging, catchy, melodic, like hardcore punk.
Let's say, I mean, that Icon Gallery record, I don't think most would look at that cover and be like, that's one to pick. But then you do, and it's like,
I mean, I get it. People have like limited funds, you can't buy everything. And, you base things on things like, what does it look like, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, this is amazing. Hero, Dishonest.
check it out.
Check it out, give it a listen. I mean, I read some reviews of their early stuff, and it kind of compared them to like DS13 and Los Crudos. I've not heard their earlier stuff, but this doesn't sound like either of those bands. This sounds to me more like those like raging and like a little bit complicated, but melodic like Finnish bands. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you like any of those other bands, there you go. They toured with Caustic Christ. There you go.
Oh.
I must have missed
Thanks,
that
Rachel.
one. What year? When was that?
When was that, Rachel? Let us know when that was. I kind of thought this band was like a little bit more well known than all those other bands, but like maybe not. So.
Might be. I mean, I don't think we're good indicators of that.
Well, I was expecting maybe a tiny blink of an eye or something when I showed the record.
Well, like I've seen that name, but I
know the name.
Yeah. I would just assume pop punk if I saw the cover art.
Right.
Yeah,
That's probably what I thought.
It's not really screaming like "Buy Me," right? You know what I mean? I get it. 2005 or 2006.
was like, I think it would be on like Go Kart Records or something. Like it has.
Yeah, it's I mean, like I said, I would not have bought that if I'd have seen it in the record store. Absolutely, but it's great band. I want to check out their earlier stuff now. So there you go. That's my last pick.
Okay.
Contemporary Finnish hardcore. Jesse, go ahead.
So my last one. This is a band that I saw in Portland in like March or so. Like Matt and Dennis have heard this story a million times. I won't tell the story, but these guys, they played a gig with Genogeist and Hellshock. Oh. So like I was in town for a conference and I'm like, oh, is there something I can do? There was a gig on Friday night. Awesome. Didn't know the first band, didn't know Genogeist, knew Hellshock. So yeah, I'll go. I show up. It's, fun times. Lights go down. First band comes on. And this band is like, wow. Like, I don't know. So someone who goes to a lot of hardcore and punk shows, as all of us do, we've probably spent a lot of hours watching opening bands, like our own bands or other friends' bands. And you never get that time back. But the opening bands, like when you see a really like good fucking opening band, I don't know, for me that just really sparks something. So like recently I've gone to some metal shows where like, holy shit, these guys are proficient, they're great, like they're harmonizing in time on stage, this is amazing, is how I feel, and it makes me so happy. This band that I'm going to talk about, they opened this gig, they were fucking great. I
can't even guess who it is. I can't even have a wild stab in the dark.
Yeah, so like really well written songs, amazing stage presence, great sound mix and everything. Nick's Division. Yeah. So like,
wow.
It's so how to describe it. Like, I don't know the first thing about like, I don't know, goth music or like, I own some Skinny Puppy records. I think I used to have Christian,
Christian Death.
Christian Death. Yeah, I had the Christian Death record. Never really caught on. This stuff like makes me feel like I'm an extra in an 80s movie where there's like the scary band playing or something. It's just so well written and produced and recorded, and just like it's fucking amazing. It's a 16 12-inch. Like what I read, the members are from like California, Texas, Mexico, and Idaho. So like they all went to Portland. I don't know if they knew beforehand they were going to Portland to start the band or if they met each other there. But it's just amazingly well written, well performed, great package of just like dark goth punk, like, you know, not spooky, but just like really good atmosphere, amazing vocals, like bass and guitar drenched in chorus. The drums sound really, really good. So it was an awesome experience to see him live, and the record like lives up to that experience.
Nice one.
So yeah, like self-released. This is like a screen printed jacket and everything. I think you can buy copies on Bandcamp, but I don't think they're like on a label or anything like that, as far as I know. But
there's 20 minutes left of Bandcamp Friday.
Yeah, get in
I might
there.
buy it.
You know?
I thought it was sold out by now and hard to get, but okay.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I haven't checked. You know, I got mine like maybe a month ago. But yeah, you know, I passed up the chance to get one at the gig. I don't know why, but then I saw they had some online, and I picked it up, and it's just really, really fucking good.
But it's good to see you getting into some goth. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if
well,
you know if the
now the gates have opened for you. There you go.
Well, you know, 'tis the season, right?
'Tis the season.
So, yeah, you know, I played this while everybody was coming trick or treating at the house last week. And, yeah, nice. Definitely scared some little ghouls and goblins.
Well, I can't wait for Gothic Jesse. So.
Yeah.
We
give it about 10 years.
Black lipstick. Black, you know, nail paint, nail polish.
A lot more platforms, a lot more rings, you know, like, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know the first thing about it, but I fucking love it. I think it's great. It's really well written. So a very easy, soft entry.
I'm going to check it out because I'm a big goth post-punk fan. So I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, I think probably post-punk is probably the best description, like dark post-punk.
Okay.
But might as well call it goth.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah,
that's a great pick.
That band I've even remembered to keep coming back to. I find with Bandcamp it's hard to remember to come back to bands when you listen to it.
I agree.
Them. Yeah, I come back to them. And
Dennis, you're a big fan too.
Well, not as big as Jesse probably, but he introduced that
band. Okay, gotcha.
And it stuck.
Yeah, no, I talk about him nonstop. Yeah, to go along with the wonderful story of Gino Geist and their record release show. But yeah.
Nice. That's a great last pick. All right, Dennis, what you got?
I'm torn. I've got a couple that I was trying to.
If you're smart, you can do them both.
Ooh.
I don't think a bonus pick. These are totally different. But
okay, I'll just do one.
I'm gonna go. All right, we're doing it. Okay, so this band got introduced to me on the Gas Mask Terror tour in Japan that I came along with them on. We were in the car, and someone put it on. Probably. Damn it, why am I blanking on the guitar player's name? But he put it on because he was talking about it, you know, how amazing this was. And it's kind of weird. It's an American speed metal band, and, you know, I'll eat that shit up. Like, the worse, the better, you know.
Worse, the
better. You know, C level, D tier, you know, I'm going to get all of it and just consume all of it. And I'd never heard of them, which was weird, but this album, Grace, Master of Disguise.
That's not C tier.
No, but I was just trying to illustrate my appetite for this kind of music. You know, I'll listen to all of it. But yeah, this is A+++
great
speed metal. None of their other albums really seem to, you know, this was just in the pocket. The album.
I've got the other one with like the saucy cover. It's kind of similar. But
Dominatrix, the one before it, yeah, the EP. I ended up selling that one because it just wasn't quite as good.
It's not that one. It's got the woman in right up close to the camera, like, and then like an executioner behind her or something with an axe, or like.
Oh, okay.
No place
one after this. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just they hit it. It's on Black Dragon Records. This has the coolest.
That's
logo.
the French label, right? It's Black Dragon.
Yeah. LA band. This cover's fucking ridiculous. I mean,
he's tied up to a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And this cop. I think the story was it's a real cop friend of theirs or something. There's something in the liner notes about it, but like the cover does not tell you what this sounds like either. It's the most raging speed metal that with just like the perfect amount of melody. The drumming kicks so much fucking ass. Like it's
like the double bass on that record is so like in your face. Like it's really
The recording's perfect, and it's just in the way Sharon's his name. Damn it, I'm sorry, Sharon. I love you.
That was great when it came out. Suddenly, like 10 minutes later.
The way he was explaining it, he was like listening to it. He's like, I just kept hearing it. And I just thought they're going to have to let up in intensity at some point. And they just don't. The whole album, it's just like busy and raging and melodic and catchy. And like, this is the perfect speed metal album. Like, nothing tops this album.
It's been on my wants list for many a year. I can't find a copy of it.
I'm surprised it's not. Because
you would think so, right?
Buyers would have all these at this point. All the agents out in the world scouring and buying records and bringing them back to Japan. But I don't remember how I came across this. I probably, when I got home, just got on the internet and bought one.
Right. There you
go. But yeah, holy shit, that album. I got to thank Gas Mask Terror. Thank you for introducing them to me. But yeah, holy crap. Ridiculous. And they fixed on Spotify. If you listen to Spotify, they put a remixed version of this album on it, and it was super weird. Like they went in and redid the drums somehow and tried to make it sound modern, and it just fucked it up. But I think they went in and put the old one back on, so it sounds right again. If you want to check it out, I don't know what the quality of it is on YouTube or whatever. It's probably dicey, but yeah, holy cow. Ridiculous. So
classic.
I feel like
I'm always coming back to this album at least a few times a month. Just can't not.
I feel like speed metal, like I'm never quite sure what that truly means, but then that record is speed metal.
It's just like that gap between new wave British heavy metal and then like thrash metal. There's that window. Right. Actually, you know what? Like my first pick could almost be called speed metal too. That Blood Money record. It's like doesn't really quite comfortably fall into any like genre that you want to like throw at it. But it's
I had to have Luke school me on that term actually, because in America we didn't distinguish, or maybe it's just because of my age. When I started getting into metal and stuff, it was thrash metal was kind of dying. It was like 87, 88, like that time. So we just didn't. And I grew up in the rural Ohio, so we were probably just fucking stupid. But we didn't know the difference between speed metal and thrash metal. And yeah, thank you, Luke, for explaining that to me.
Like
some point.
Judas Priest influenced, like Exciter, that early Exciter records. They're like, aren't they like the perfect examples of like speed metal? Agent Steel, Exciter.
Yeah. Yep. Even probably Holy Terror is like right on the line,
on the cusp.
Yeah, of speed and thrash. But yeah, they used to have those T-shirts that said "Speed fucking metal" on the back. So fucking cool.
All right, classic Savage Grace. Beautiful. All right, bring it on home, Matt. It's up to you.
All right, I'm gonna
finish
end it with a real whirlwind of D-beat devastation. Or not, actually. This is The Lost Days
Ooh.
in the store. Is anyone familiar with with Tony Molina or Ovens? He does. They're like under 2 minute like pop songs, pretty much. They're very guitar driven. Like his earlier stuff was real fuzzed out. Like it was verse, chorus, and then a big solo.
Ooh.
And it's great. I love it. It's like it can't get old. There's no time for it to get old. Like it's just nothing drags. And then later stuff, he's done away with the fuzz and all that, and has done more like, you know, it's acoustic. There's drums and stuff. And with that, I realized like all the solos and stuff aren't just like a gimmick to make it good. He can write a fucking song, and he's very prolific. And this, it's him and terrible. I don't know her name. Sarah Rose Janko from the band.
She was in the band? What?
She was in the band, actually. I can't find it. But it's him and this Sarah Rose Janko doing like sort of acoustic-ish like pop rock stuff.
Hey, Jason, you're fun too. Nice.
And like no song, there's one song that's over 2 minutes. So the whole record is about 13 minutes long. And I don't know, I'm real bad at describing this kind of stuff. Like it is my favorite record of the year.
Oh, it's new.
Yeah, it came out I think back in March. I just bought it last month at Used Kids in Columbus. I've been meaning to because I like everything he's done, and I heard like they did a demo a few years ago that was good, but this just, I don't know, I'm blanking. It's everything I like about Tony Molina's stuff is on this record, and it's just another great record of his. And with her vocals added to his stuff, it just adds a whole new.
There you go.
Jason, you can describe it. You're doing a better job than me. Yeah, it's my favorite record of the year.
Wow, that's high praise, man.
That's my review. It's one where like I'm at work and I'm like, I want to get home so I can just listen to it over and over.
Nice. Sounds cool.
That sounds awesome.
The Lost Days in the store.
It's going on the list.
Yeah,
There's so many good.
Check out.
So many good records coming out like these days, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Really. It's good. It's a good thing. Yeah. Don't dwell in the past. Look to the future.
Yeah, I think like last year, maybe the year before, I didn't like a lot of newer stuff, but I've been liking newer stuff again. So
yeah, I've been through that kind of cycle as well. I was just like, why do I? Yeah, it's like now I'm on a kind of roll with like the past few years. I'm really keen to check out a lot of like new bands. You know. It can happen even at like 56 years old. It's possible. You can still be into like new bands and support these bands, man, because you know they need our support, right? So if you can, check out and buy some of these records that we've been talking about on the show.
I know there's a lot of stuff like I've listened to or like that's just come out from a label that I know kind of thing, but don't actually have the record, so I can't bring it on this show.
Hey, put it on someone else's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know that when they put out a record, their time will. Time will come.
Well, yeah. I mean, it takes a long time for him to come from Australia, unfortunately. So there's a lot of Australia going on. It seems.
You got the new Coffin record?
No. Checkpoint.
Oh,
I really like Checkpoint. That's really good shit.
All right, I might talk about the new Coffin record next week. We'll see. There's not enough time. I should do an episode every day. There's not enough time. Not enough episodes in the month to cover everything. All right, great episode, great times. Let me introduce next week's show before I forget. Next Friday, November 10th. Yes, that's right. 10 p.m. Eastern. Dan from Guerra Final. Old friend. What a great band. They need to I know they're doing a new 7-inch. One of the best like bands out of Texas right now. I think amazing. They've got a new 7-inch coming out, but I'm looking forward to a record, a full length from Matteo from Warthog and Salvage Punk, and Jeff who's watching now from Scarecrow and Bunker Punks, Disc and Tapes, and Sorry State. And it's going to be a good show. Yeah. It's going to be a good show. It's always a good show. It's always a good time.
Always good.
It's always good. And we'll do it again. We'll all come on, different figurations.
I'd love to come back.
You're coming back whether you like it or not, young man.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for having us. Had a blast.
Yeah, thanks.
Rachel says Checkpoint is definitely excellent. So there you go.
Yeah, Rachel, right on.
Yeah. All right. All right. Until next time, next week, Friday, November 10th. Stay healthy and
stay
clean.
Clean.